What's going on, guys? Logan JYA Drykage here, and we've got Post-Justice Hunters Drytron. No BS, let's get into it. Okay, my friends, we're starting things off with the generic new 2-centric build. This is going to be your best Swiss Army knife build of Drytron going into the Post-Justice Hunters format. It's built to play against the meta new and old, while trying out some new things for going second. Without further ado, let's dive in. I'm trying a little bit of a new setup with this deck profile, so let me know if you guys like it in the comment section down below. We're going to run through the main names first, and we're maxing them all out. Triple copies of the new 2, triple alpha, triple zeta, triple delta, triple gamma. All of the main core names maxed out, 3 copies per piece. New 2-centric build, meaning your names are more important than ever. The more you see in your opening hand, the better off you're going to be. And more oftentimes than not, you want to see just at least 2 of them. And as a part of our supporting cast, we're also playing 1 copy of the Drytron. In a new 2-centric build, this is what's going to bridge you into your Fafnir field spell and your Nova, and it can make your end boards far more explosive. Moving on from there, we got some rituals, starting things off with the OG Draconids, the 4K attack, big guy who swings into all the special summons and he's got the free sends. He is also a target for your big dad to float into. He's your mainstay form of interruption for this build, but there's another important thing that I'm going to say about this strategy as we move on through. We also got the 1 copy of Ben 10 being the last ritual monster in the main board, and 1 copy of Diviner the Herald to bridge in from your fairies over to, or back into your Drytrons, getting you a search for dad or Draconids, whatever you need in the situation. Now moving on from there, I want to take some time to talk about the main boss monster in this build, that being Vanity's Ruler, and why I think he's so important going into the Post-Justice Hunters format. What's going on, guys? Gotta give a huge shout out and thank you to xxanime.shop. Be sure to check out their link in the pinned comment and the description down below, where you can get your hands on the brand new Drykage line of merch. They've got some absolutely sick stuff on this shop, so be sure to check it out. You can find things like the official Drykage jersey and a heck of a lot more, so be sure to check them out and use the code Drykage for 10% off. Now let's get back to it. Honestly, dude, maybe I've been watching too much of Triff, but it is seeming like the Yummies are going to be the main deck to beat. The K9 is going to be a crazy sub-engine and some strategies we already see floating around. And honestly, Draco Tails aren't too problematic for our deck. But the reason why I think the Vanity's Ruler is so strong is because going into the Yummy matchup, it makes it extremely difficult to play, more so than if you ended on your usual Drytron board for this build, being the dad with up to 4 negates, because if you let them get started, you're going to have to spend those negates very quickly. So ending on the Vanity's Ruler and putting them on better have imperm or droplets is the best win condition that I think this build should focus on. It's also a lot easier to do through interruption. The main priority for putting this guy up that you just got to remember is to search it off of your Ben 10 instead of the Diviner. Now, when you do this, there are going to be times where you forego going for the dad, and that's okay. In fact, you'd rather have the Vanity's Ruler up, locked and loaded, combined with maybe some Link Monster, Link Play interruptions. Because this blanket form of interruption going into the opponent's turn is phenomenal. And it's only punished by board breakers and top-decked imperms. So that's why I think the Vanity's Ruler is critical for this build, Post-Justice Hunters. But that's going to be that for the big explanation. I want to take you guys through some of our continuation of the engine, looking at the spell cards in the main board. Starting things off, we got triple copies of Nova, 2 copies of the Fafnir field spell searches off the Nova, or 1 of your copies of the Medionis Drytron. This is another note that I took from Jordan's Nats profile, playing multiple copies of the Medionis to circumvent the Droll Lockbird in certain scenarios, and giving your Zeta an additional target to search going into the grind game. When this deck gets into the grind game, you should win. So having the extra copy of Medionis makes your Zeta far more valuable. When you can stick up additional ritual summons in the turn, you're going to be surprised at how impactful that can be. But that's going to be it for those core Drytron spells. We do also still play triple copies of the Cyber Emergency, searching off any name, or your big guys. 1 copy of the Foolish Burial, it'll become any name that you need. And then we're going to start off with the non-engine here with some of our powerful 1-of spells, the 1 Talent, the 1 Sacked by the Grave, and the 1 Cross-out Designator. Rounding out those 1-ofs, I want to move into some more consistent non-engine. What we got next, we've got triple copies of Forbidden Droplets, one of the best board breakers in the game, and our deck can play it better than most, given how easily we can play Out of the Grave. So this is always taking out multiple interruptions on the opponent's turn. Triple copies of Ash, triple copies of Fua, triple copies of Droll, and triple copies of Imperm, rounding out the main deck, putting us at a strong 50 cards. Like I said, in response to Jordan's list, we're applying that old school Mermel thought pattern of burying the bricks and also giving us an increased chance of seeing impactful non-engine. We're trying to play the most high impact hand traps that we can to be able to stop the meta decks right now. But when we go into the side deck, you're going to see a few additional breakers that I believe are going to be really strong post-Justice Hunters. But first, let's move on through the extra deck. Starting things off, we got 2 copies of the massive Moy Beta, very beta. You got to play 2. You know how this guy works. He's also a negate as well as your Foolish Burial and your free ritual fodder. 1 copy of Fuko, you know what we like to call her. It goes with one of our best side deck strategies and is an essential end board piece when you get hit with the Droll. 1 Lyrilusk Assembled Nightingale to make your Turbo Zeus plays easier, and a secondary copy of a target that is a Wing Beast and a Wind. 1 Downward Magician and the Mighty Zeus to get additional sends. And then last exceed we play is the 1 copy of Typhon. I think Typhon's still pretty good, so I'm going to continue to put him in this deck. Moving right along through the links, we got 1 copy of the Relinquished Anima. Just need to have a link 1 to dump those names into the grave. If they play into it, they deserve the L. 1 copy of Dynamundo. He gives you those extra dad negates and additional removal on the opponent's turn. That shuffleback is crazy. 1 copy of the IP Masquerena. Tag into your Dynamondo or your SP Little Knight. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of times where you want to end on the Vanity's Ruler, and sometimes going IP name and Vanity's Ruler is going to be the easiest end board for you to get to, and probably one of the best ones that you can do into the current format. So keep that in mind. You might not have the materials to go for the Dynamondo. You might want to tag into that SP Little Knight, especially if you're going for the Vanity's Ruler end board. And then the last links we got is 1 copy of the Nightmare Phoenix and 1 copy of the Mighty Boral Sword. Rounding out the extra deck, we got 2 synchros, 1 copy of the Herald of the Arclight, shout out my friend David again for the super sick misprint, and 1 copy of the FA Dawn Dragster for your other synchro monster. These 2 go hand in hand with your Diviner. It's your level 7 that you can make to synchro off it after you raise its level by sending the Herald. That gives you the free search, usually into your dad if you started things off with Ben 10. Alright, rounding things out with the side deck, we've got triple copies of the Lava Golem, triple copies of the Artifact Lancia. Any of those banished decks, especially the Malice, we're going to cook them with it. 1 copy of the Harpy's Feather Duster. There's just so many matchups it's good against, but it's really our main form of back row disruption. If you're unfortunate enough to play into a trap-heavy deck, yeah, you might want to bring this guy in. And then next thing I want to talk about is 3 copies of the Dark Ruler No More. Why? I think we have a great chance as Drytron with access to OG Draconids to push through big boards. One of the problems with board breakers right now are for those that are unable to capitalize on after resolving them to wipe out the rest of the opponent's field. Our deck is in a unique position to do so, and even after we pass turn back to the opponent, we're going to have interruptions into their turn, and we're going to have the guaranteed opportunity to push for game on the next turn. So that's why I think Dark Ruler is pretty good in Drytron. And then the last thing I want to talk about in the side deck is the triple copies of the Harpy's Featherstorm and the 2 copies of the Thrust to Search It. The best going first strategy that our deck can do. While it is still legal, we're going to continue to play it. We do it better than Ryzeal. It's that simple. And on Fuko or the Lyrilusk, and it's game over. And if you've already used one, you can still have access to the other and still make this play live. All things to keep in mind when you're going first in a games 2 or 3. But that's going to bring this list to a close. Like I said at the start, be sure to smash that like button. I've got multiple other Drytron builds for post-Justice Hunters, an anti-meta Drytron strategy, and a beefed up Vanity's Ruler profile. If you want to see those, smash the like button. Again, shout out XX Anime, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Logan JY, signing off, a great day. See you beautiful people later. Peace.